What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over my 4-0 Obi-Wan blue deck list. I went 4-0 this week's locals at Myrtle Beach Games. Now, this is the original deck list. I kind of wanted to do it in this way to show you what it originally looked like and what it became through testing throughout the week. And I think this is kind of what I'm going to do when it comes to deck list videos on this channel from now on. I am going to list an original deck list, and then I'm going to test it out for a week or so, bring it to locals, because deck lists do change as you continue to test them out. So, then I'll go over what changed and why, and then you'll see it in the final, if I end up winning locals with it, you'll see it in its final form. It kind of like what we've been doing in the last two, but these last two locals I was able to win with deck lists that I made and made changes with throughout the week as I continue to test it, right? But as you see here, this is more of a restore Sentinel build. The sideboard's a bit whack. As much as I like Hello There, it doesn't belong. Very situational, great card, but very situational. So we ended up scrapping that out of the sideboard. I ended up going with a different card other than Entrench in the sideboard. And then, you know, Mystic Reflection didn't actually make it into my deck list. It's not bad. It's a very good card. And it does probably have a space in here, but we'll kind of go over it. Satine, yoink, out. There's no reason for this ever to become a mill deck. So Satine, for it to have a space in the deck, just wasn't worth it. And let's go ahead and bring up the actual deck list that we ended up running, right? This is my 4-0, excuse me, deck list. And obviously you can see the changes pretty clearly here, right? We have 3 redemption now. It's a very good card. You want to see redemption in those matches that are going to go long, right? So also the deck list did go from 50 to 52. I felt like it was okay. I didn't have a problem with it. Razor Crest became Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite. I did talk about that in the video. I do like the Aether Sprite a little bit more because it is more removal for the deck, potentially. And with Obi-Wan's a really good combination piece when he comes out as a leader unit and can swing automatically 1 damage around places, ping off shields if need be, or just hit something and kind of deal more damage around the board. We have Guardians of the Wills for early force units, for things like it binds all things to make it a removable card. We actually added in Covert Strength. Covert Strength, being able to smuggle that out to keep your Sentinels a little bit healthier while also powering them up is really nice. You're going to kind of see it in the best of 3 matchup that we have going on here. And then, you know, we have the 2 Sentinels for 3. We have the Village Protectors and the Concord Dawn Interceptors. The reason for having those be 2 of, you kind of have your options if, you know, you're more dangerous in space and you have to protect your base for a little bit in space. Boom. The Interceptors come out, or Village Protectors come out. They come out shielded. Is very nice there. And obviously, we added in more removal into the main deck, right? We have Takedowns and Rivals Fall. I kind of went that route over the Fell the Dragon, but that's neither here nor there. The Entrenches became Perilous Position here. I do like Perilous Position because it does exhaust the unit, and it doesn't give them a buff. So if they have to swing into things, they will get a debuff with this rather than Entrench, because in this deck, you have a lot of ground Sentinels. If you're giving your opponent a +3/+3, they're taking out your Sentinels easily because they have nothing to fear, nothing to lose, because they cannot attack the base with that unit anyway. So Perilous Position is just better. It exhausts the unit for the turn, but then also gives it -2/-2 permanently unless they get rid of it. So with all these Sentinels we have in the deck, that's a good combination as well. Also, I have the high ground is great for this deck because of all the Sentinels as well. I went with Confiscates. Obviously, you need to potentially get rid of upgrades at some point. So 2 Confiscates in the sideboard are really good. I have the 3rd Takedown and the 3rd Rivals Fall if I do want to go with a little bit more of a control build. And then I went 2 System Patrol Crafts. If I have to go up against heavy space decks, this is a very good card to have as protection as well, because we are obviously more ground unit central. But if you do need to go ahead and shift over to space, it's okay. I do sometimes get rid of my turn 1 plays, right? Obviously, Quill stays at all times, and so does Restore Dark. But sometimes I'll get rid of Guardians of the Well. Yes, I understand that will leave me with only 6 turn 1 plays, but this deck has the means to get around that and kind of survive. And you're going to kind of see that in the matchups that in the top, in the final match, the best of 3 against Cad Bane Yellow. And then I have 2 Fell the Dragons if I need to switch from Takedown to Fell the Dragon, depending on the deck that I am playing against, right? So this is kind of what we're rocking with. It's pretty fun. Yes, it does look super control-y, but it's more soft control. And I think soft control is better than complete control, because like hard control is sad times. Soft control, not as sad. It's sad sometimes, but you know, it focuses more on healing and Sentinels rather than removal itself. So let's go ahead and hop over to our Cad Bane matchup. This is the final matchup against Bluezer. he ran Cad Bane yellow, he was 3-0 at this point, and I ran Obi-Wan double blue, and I was 3-0 at this point, and the matchup does go long. So let me know if you guys want to see one match or the full best of 3. I figured I would go ahead and ask that in this video because I understand that people don't want to sit here for an hour-long video, but sometimes the best of 3s do go the full distance, and it might not be ideal to watch the full thing. So if you guys rather see in longer matchups just one of the matches, or if you'd rather see all 3, let me know down in the comments down below. If you guys are new here and enjoying this style of video, let me know down in the comments below, and also hit that sub button. Support is always appreciate. And then, let's go ahead and hop over to that match. See you over there. All right, so we have our game 1 here. I'm going up against Cad Bane yellow in the finals here. I am going to go ahead and show game 1 and then go to game 3. I'll talk about my changes that I made in between game 1, game 2, and game 3. I just think that putting an hour's long worth of matches into one video might not be what some people are wanting to see. But then again, let me know if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But you're going to kind of see how game 1 goes for the Cad Bane yellow player. It's kind of crazy. So first off, I go ahead and I go into space. I do my restored arc in space. I'm feeling pretty good because I can get the restored and kind of go that route, right? He goes ahead and he pings. I'm just going to heal it right off. And he takes the initiative. Okay. So maybe it feels bad that I lose the initiative here, but I just kind of figured that, I'm kind of hoping that he doesn't have McClunky in hand at this point, and I won't lose my unit, right? So first things first, he's going to hit my base for 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit his base for 2. And we're both going to be at 2. So it's pretty good there. And now I kind of have to see where we're going to be going. He goes ahead and he plays McClunky, brings his Cloud Rider back to hand, which is kind of bad for me. And I go ahead and I play Yoda. The issue is that he has Cloud Rider, and I knew it was going to come because he pings it with Cad Bane, he takes it out. That's really good for him. I do get to draw 1. I'm going to take the initiative. And then from here, it's like my opponent is in a really good spot here because he's clearing off the field really quickly. I can't get anything that has restore on the board, and he has the tools to really kind of burst some speed if he needs to go ahead and do so. So I'm not feeling too great right now because everything I play just dies. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring out another Yoda. So he just has another Cloud Rider, and that's upsetting. I forget to do the draw trigger, mainly because I think that I was a little bit tilted. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to take initiative here, and I'm going to draw for the upkeep. And yes, I understand I missed the draw trigger off of Yoda, but still, my opponent is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's kind of keeping me at a really bad spot for myself. I'm going to play Beerus here. Playing Beerus allows him to play the ping and ping that unit and hopefully keep my next unit on the board. And that's why I did that. I'm trying to bait out the ping from Cad Bane, but he goes ahead and he does this. So he pings Beerus. Beerus goes away, and he gets to see my hand. And he keeps, so he sees the Vigilance. I do get to draw a card off of the, when he takes rid of. He doesn't want Luke to stay in hand because he's afraid of it, because he does feel like we're going to get to that point. So he leaves Vigilance in in hand, right? So I do get to draw a card, not missing it like the Yoda trigger, but still, I'm in a really bad spot here. I'm just going to go ahead and go with the Vigilance. I'm going to take out his unit, and I'm going to have him mill 6. I'm trying to get rid of the Cunnings, because Cunning can flip a game, right? So if he mills out Cunnings, I feel really good. Also, Surprise Strike is another thing I'm trying to hit, because I don't want those bursts of damage. Especially if he gets Zuckuss on the board. My Sentinels don't do anything against Sentinels, right? The Saboteurs. So, yes, I can go ahead and have a Sentinel on the board, but Saboteur with homie Zuckuss is a problem. So, here we go. We are going to go ahead and put down the Jedi Lightsaber. I want to potentially get a couple of Sentinels on the board with Obi-Wan and then flipping my leader and Obi-Wan. So it's just kind of figuring out what I want to do here. He goes ahead and he brings out his Cad Bane. I go ahead and I drop down Obi-Wan. I don't know why I'm only tapping 5. I'm trying to do the math here. Oh. Yeah, I don't know why I tapped 5. There we go. I tapped 6. I'm not stupid. And I show him a Jedi Lightsaber. But this is to kind of slow him down so he doesn't quickly get in there. The issue being is that he can do a lot of damage with, again, so here's the Cunning, right? He has me discard a random card from hand, which could be bad. So he gets rid of, which would have been good to have, right? It binds all things from hand. And he goes ahead and he gives Cad Bane +4/+0. And the issue being is that he's going to kill Obi-Wan. And either way, he's either going to kill Obi-Wan down there, right? The unit that's currently on the board. Or he's going to kill the Obi-Wan that I flip because he now goes ahead and he swings for 8. The issue being is that I cannot pass because then he just kills... if he just takes initiative, I don't know, it's in a weird spot. I let him kill the Obi-Wan, and then I take this. I don't want to pass and have him kill the other Obi-Wan and miss out on the +2 experience tokens. So I let him kill the Obi-Wan leader so I can still have the opportunity to play something that can get a boost if possible, right? But again, it's a really tough spot to be in. And, you know, we're going to try to climb out of this hole that we put ourselves in. I'm trying to think. I don't go and put down a resource. I say it's 6 resources, mainly because I don't have a redemption in hand or anything like that, or a Luke, because he did ditch it, right? So I have to kind of go and see what I want. I'm going to go ahead and put a Jedi lightsaber on him, and then he goes ahead and plays Relentless Pursuit, and I get captured. So that's really bad. He does get a shield on his homie, but I think he might forget the shield. But either way, oh no, he doesn't forget the shield. I'm just stupid. So he goes ahead and he puts the shield onto Cad Bane, and now I'm just going to take initiative, and he's going to smack me for some big damage here. He's going to hit me for 4. So, yes, playing the Jedi lightsaber was kind of rough, but he then goes ahead and he plays the Gamorrean Guard, and then he smacks me for the 4 damage, right? So I'm sitting at 6 right now. It's not the end of the world, but it's not great, right? So he shows that he has 2 Zuckuses, he has a Forlom in hand, he has a Lurking TIE Phantom if he wants to go to space. If he goes to space, I have to hope that I draw my protection in space. But here we go. We have the Obi-Wan coming from hand again, hoping that... Listen, if he ends up killing it with Cad Bane, then I get my other Obi-Wan on board. It's just, you know, a little bit different. He goes ahead and he places Lady Proxima, which is pretty bad. So I do get the 1 damage on Obi-Wan, but then I have the high ground, right? The high ground makes so is anything that attacks him gets -4, -0, making it so he takes 0 damage this turn from Cad Bane, which is quite big. And I can kind of stall him out a little bit, trying to get to my big pieces. Again, if he starts to go into space, it's kind of rough. So, because I don't have those Sentinels in space currently in hand, right? So he ends up putting down the Lurking TIE Phantom, good on my opponent's part. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to heal up Obi-Wan, so he doesn't die 1 shot. Oh, he would still die 1 shot. I have 3 damage on him. So he goes with the Forlom. He does not ambush. But I'm going to go ahead and take the initiative. And he's set up a pretty good board here, right? Alright, yeah. So he does ping with the Lady Proxima. Putting us at 7 damage on board. And yeah, it's not looking great for us, but again, we have to try to get through it as best we can. So right now, Obi-Wan has 1 damage on him. So again, yeah, so he cannot be taken out, like I said earlier, cannot be taken out by the Cad Bane. So anything that kind of hits here is not going to be able to kill Obi-Wan. But again, if he does play the Zuckuss, he has ambush on Zuckuss, which is just very bad. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play out another I have the high ground to try to stall out the ground as much as possible, because if the floodgates start flooding on the ground, it's really bad. So he goes with the Zuckuss. He does go ahead and he smacks in with Obi-Wan. I do not die here. Oh no, I do end up dying here. Because of the +2 from the 2 ping from Cad Bane, right? And then the ambush here. I am going to now go ahead and play Luke. Something has died, and I go ahead and I get back an Obi-Wan Sentinel, right? So that might have been a little bit confusing. Some of the times the pings get a little bit confusing, right? But with the ping from Cad Bane putting 2 damage onto Obi-Wan there, and ambushing out with Forlom, he does get the +1, so it was enough to take out my Obi-Wan. Sadly, no +1/+1, no experience tokens on anything because it was my only unit. But bringing in the Luke now, to take out the Cad Bane to get my Sentinel back on board is cool and all, but it does not matter because he has Saboteur on his unit because Zuckuss is on the board. So he does hit my Luke for 4 damage. I take the initiative. And yeah, it's becoming a bad time. So he goes ahead and McClunkies. He deals the damage to my base. This is something that gets a little bit hard to keep track of. It's a bit rough here, but he pings my base using Lady Proxima with McClunky. He takes out Luke. He then goes ahead and hits my base for 4. So we're sitting at a total of 13 damage on board right now. And that's, you know, I need a Saboteur on board. I have nothing to stop the space at the moment, which is very bad. And yeah, it's not looking great for your boy here because, you know, the Zuckuss Forlom combo, the pinging of Lady Proxima, the pinging of Cad Bane, it's hard to stop, right? I don't have any restore units on the board. And so it was a little bit chaotic of a first game. We didn't quite do exactly what I wanted. I wanted to just, you know, give Obi-Wan some protection here. If something wanted to go ahead and swing into him, he was going to be able to live no matter what. The Zuckuss still has no reason to swing into him here, though, because he has Saboteur. He goes ahead and he plays another Sentinel. So I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I don't really have too much to get out of this, really. So, yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, obviously, I was thinking about taking out the Zuckuss to not take so much damage, but I take out the Sentinel, give it -2/-2. I take 2 back. If he does want to go ahead and swing Zuckuss into Obi-Wan and take him out, cool. But again, there's no reason for him to do that. And I didn't want to put Obi-Wan in a spot where he would have died to the Gamorrean guards plus next turn on the cell block guards. So again, it's just a really bad spot to be in. He set up his board really nice with Zuckuss and Lurking TIE Phantom. So he's going to go ahead and he's going to play the Surprise Strike and smack my base for 9. Again, ton of damage there. It's, again, it's pretty sad times. It's pretty sad times. It puts us at 22, and then he hits us for another 4. It puts us at 28. And at this point, I really have nothing I can do to kind of stop him, right? I have nothing in space, right? So I have 26 damage on base. I apologize. But I have nothing to really stop this, right? He goes ahead and he plays McClunky just so he can go ahead and he can ping the base with that. So he pings it. He does 3 damage there. He plays the Lady Proxima back. He's trying to see if he's trying to remember if he does that. So he goes ahead and he pings the Obi-Wan again. And Obi-Wan is in a really bad spot, but it does not matter because whatever he swings with, whether it be Zuckuss or the Lurking TIE Phantom, he's gonna take the win right here. It is what it is. I just died. So we kind of see that there's nothing I can really do. And we are just going to go ahead and go to the next game. I'm pretty sure we just kind of talk it over. And then I have to kind of hit the sideboard. So he ends up winning, and no matter what I do, we're just going to go to game 2. But again, we are going to go straight to game 3 because these matches go really long, these next 2. And I kind of want to just talk about the changes I made. So again, we are going to hop over to game 3. But I'm going to talk about what I put in, what I took out, right? I took out Guardian of the Wills, and I took out Barriss, who was in this deck originally. Barriss has no place in this matchup. It gets pinged and killed, right? I took Barriss out, which is why Barriss kind of got dropped out of the deck. Again, I do like the ability to play it for a 1-drop and it has good traits, but in this matchup, it's really bad. I end up putting in the extra Rivals Fall just so I can have it on the Cad Bane flip. I ended up playing that in game 2. The Cad Bane did flip, and I was able to use Rivals Fall on it. It made the match a lot easier. I added in more redemptions, I added in more control, added in some takedowns and stuff like that. So the main thing that I had to do is I had to go a little bit more control to play against this deck, and then for the late game have redemption as a possibility to potentially heal up my base, or just have as something as protection in space. It's hard to get around redemption if you are going to Lurking TIE Phantom and try to use that as a win con and anything like that. Lurking TIE Phantom, yes, it hits for 4, but it doesn't take out a Lurking TIE Phantom and it dies. Same thing with Xanadu Bloods, which my opponent is running. It does die on the crackback from the Redemption, and it doesn't die. The Redemption stays on the board pretty good here, right? So I ended up going with a little bit more control against this matchup. Again, it's kind of like Boba Fett when you have a little bit more hard control against these double yellow decks that rely on putting things down on the board, pinging, and doing a bunch of stuff like that. It just makes it a little bit easier of a matchup for you, right? And again, playing as a 52 card deck, I didn't mention that in the deck list video. It is 52 cards, so I don't know how I typically feel. I love having 50 card decks. That's typically how I roll. But in this type of deck, having more options to kind of draw into, like, it could be good if you want to go ahead and drop out a couple things, like maybe like Covert Strength. You're not high on Covert Strength. Dropping that out of the deck might be okay. But I did like Covert Strength in this matchup and stuff like that. But again, I opted to drop out a lot of my turn 1 plays because I wasn't heavy on turn 1 necessity, I should say, kind of in a way. Right, in game 2, I did not have a turn 1 play, but I was able to take it out by flipping the game, by healing, restoring, and then playing my Sentinels and getting them on the board. Being able to take out the Cad Bane on the 6 flip turn was just really nice, right? So that's a big thing too. If you're able to take out Cad Bane relatively early, you don't have to worry about all the pinging that's going on, right? And again, I understand it's hard to kind of follow with all the pinging. I know in the first game when you saw all the pinging, and I got trounced, right? All that ping is hard to follow, but you'll see as the numbers kind of flip on the base, at least when my base is being hit. So with all the pings with Lady Proxima and stuff like that. I do have a turn 1 play this time, which is nice, but my opponent has the initiative. So he was going to go ahead and put down. Yeah, so he goes ahead and he gets to look at my hand. And he takes away my turn 1 play, which is always a good thing. So either way, I did have a turn 1 play in. I didn't have a turn 1 play in game 2. I didn't have a turn 1 play in this game. You know, just being able to look at someone's hand and rip a card from it. Yes, I do get to draw, but it is what it is. Now I go ahead and I play out. All right, so now we're back. I cut that out. We play Yoda. I expect McClunky, but he does go ahead and he swings in my base for 1, and then he plays Lady Proxima to get even more pings. And then McClunky pings with Lady Proxima, kills my Yoda because of Cad Bane. I do get to draw a card. Not sure if I do. I think, again, like... oh, no, I did draw the card. So now we go ahead and we pass. Yeah, it's looking rough. So, like, the way the Cad Bane deck is currently running right now is that it's relying on the pings from Lady Proxima while keeping my field completely and utterly, like, empty with the pings of Cad Bane plus McClunky, Cloud Rider plus Cad Bane. It's just a really good combination to have. So I'm trying to decide between Lightsaber or Ki-Adi-Mundi, but I decided to go with the Lightsaber because I'm not getting anything to stick. So having a Lightsaber in hand, when you're not having anything stick, it's not worth it, right? Yes, I can flip Obi-Wan and put it on him, but he ends up switching out, putting the Bazine down, and taking the Forlorn back to hand. It's probably a good move because he does end up going with the Forlorn plus the Cad Bane trigger, and he pings the base, putting me at 4. Again, it's rough out here, right? I'm not getting anything to stick, but it's also not the end of the world, right? I'm not too worried about it because he's also not getting anything to stick. So he's not putting that pressure on my base. Yes, he's keeping my field completely empty. It sucks 100%, but he's not doing anything that's like really putting me in a spot where I have to panic. And so my mindset here is, you know, try to get something to stick. He doesn't have anything in space at the moment, so I think System Patrol Craft is something I put down into my resources here. And I'm like, listen, he can't get 7 damage in on Ki-Adi-Mundi here. So Ki-Adi-Mundi, unless he could captures it with Relentless Pursuit, I'm like, okay, this is gonna stick, right? So we're at the 5 resource turn. I'm also kind of thinking like, hey, listen, I'm afraid of something potentially coming in space. So I end up taking the System Patrol Craft back to hand as protection, right? So all precaution, just in case something really hits the fan here. But I go ahead and I drop down the Ki-Adi-Mundi and I'm like, this thing can probably stay on the field. Fingers crossed, right? But I think that this can stay on the field a little bit better. And maybe we can get some traction here, whether it be me being able to swing it to his base or something like that. I know he probably has McClunky in hand. He has, he's not going to be able to use Relentless Pursuit to take the Kyade Munde at the moment. So he does go ahead and he forloams into it. He does 1 damage to the base, puts me at 5, right? He does the Cad Bane to deal 5 to the homie here. And I'm like, okay, well, if he goes McClunky, it's sad times. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to heal. And he goes McClunky. And I'm like, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is. He gets me up to 6 damage on base. And again, nothing is sticking. And I'm not getting tilted really, but like, I'm just like, this is not great because with Cad Bane potentially coming out soon, yes, I have Obi-Wan. I do have initiative, so I can flip Obi-Wan first. He's not going to be able to capture Obi-Wan, which is nice for me. But he has me at 6 damage as we continue to roll on. And it's still not the worst thing, but it's like, it's not great. I'm not getting anything to stick. But the thing here, right? My opponent is afraid of a rival's fall. Okay? And with my opponent being afraid of a rival's fall, he's afraid to flip Cad Bane, which is it helps me out, right? If he's afraid to flip Cad Bane and just plays other things and keeps Cad Bane a little bit tucked in, that's all right. Like if he skips a turn of having Cad Bane come out, I feel a little bit good about that. He's afraid of rival's fall here. So my first initial thing is, right, hold on to the card and flip out. Maybe if I don't even if you don't have it, bluff it, right? So I bring out my boy Obi-Wan here. He passes. I just take initiative, right? Getting that extra resource is just good. And now I don't have to go ahead and spend an action to attack with Obi-Wan. It's just better, right? So, yes, I could have attacked and maybe he passes again. And if that would have been the case, it would have been a little bit better because I would have gotten that 4 damage on the board. But I figured that getting the extra resource here to get me to a point where I can have redemption on the field faster than he can go ahead and play stuff just put me in a better spot. He was trying, again, to play around the rival's fall. And I understand that completely. You don't want to lose your leader, but putting me now at 7 resources in a double blue deck is not the best. And yes, I could have attacked. He probably would have passed again, but it is what it is. Now we have Obi-Wan starting off with initiative here. And we kind of rock it here. I put down the Jedi lightsaber again. As good as Jedi lightsaber is, I probably should have kept it and put it on Obi-Wan. But what I'm going to do is I am going to just go straight off with the Force is with me. Now it gives me a shield and Obi-Wan becomes stronger, so he's a 6/9. So that's really good. We're now tied with HP on base. He doesn't have to fear Rival's fall at the moment, which is good for him. But again, it's still a little bit rough because he has to kind of find a way around Obi-Wan's shield here without losing what he swings into, right? So he has the Greedo. He is going to go ahead and ping off the shield, or is he saving it? He should have pinged off the shield here. But again, I go ahead and I play my boy here. If he had pinged off the shield with Cad Bane, he would be in a much better spot with the Cad Bane flip. But I was wondering if he was trying to save it for a later play. So he does play the Xanadu Blood. And he does ping here, right? And he pings off the shield on the Village Protectors, right? Again, Obi-Wan might have been the better play. He keeps Cad Bane tucked still, which, again, I think it would have been a good thing to bring out Cad Bane here on that turn to swing into my Obi-Wan, but he got burned. He didn't want to, on the following turn, lose it right away. It's the game you play. You have to make your opponent spend their resources, right? So if I use Rival's Fall on Cad Bane at the start of this turn, I'm down 6 resources. And then I can't do this, right? I go ahead and I play Redemption. I'm not healing off of anything. There's no reason to, right? And so I think we're talking about it. Like, he wanted to, are you healing? I'm like, no. Having my Redemption at full HP when the Xanadu Blood is there, it won't be able to crash through. If I had healed me to 0 damage on base, he would have. I'm just like telling him, like, there's no reason to. You have me at 6 HP damage. It's just not worth it in the end, right? I think that the downfall in this match so far has been my opponent has been a little bit too passive. He's trying to play around control, and it's not the way to play against control. Playing against, you're giving your opponent time to do what they want to do, and it's not what you want to do. He does see that I have no resources left, so now I am going to go ahead and I'm going to swing 6 at base, right? So that's good. And again, I have 2 Sentinels on board. He's trying to decide if he wants to play Relentless Pursuit to give Cad Bane a shield, potentially. To make it so when he swings into Obi-Wan, it's not as bad, right? So, and Village Protectors isn't really scaring anyone. So he could do one of 2 things here, right? He can go ahead and use Greedo to swing into the Village Protectors, and then use Greedo's ability to pop the shield. Or he could do the safe play and make it so the Cad Bane will have a shield, so if it has to swing into the Obi-Wan with the shield, he doesn't take any damage. I think this is the proper play. I think this is a really good thing for him, right? But he's shielded now, and I have to kind of deal with what's in the field. I do feel okay because I have 2 Sentinels on the board. So here we are. We have my boy Obi-Wan chilling, and he can go ahead and play something to ping. So he plays the Lady Proxima. I do get to choose, right? So if he does go ahead and he puts down an Underworld unit, again, he can only use the ping once per turn when Cad Bane's out. I'm going to put it on Redemption because I still live with Redemption's damage and Xanadu's blood. So again, I have 9 HP. I didn't heal anything. So I just think that it's hard here. You're trying to figure out what you need to do to break through the Sentinels at this point. But, you know, you see the Lady Proxima, it comes out. He's going to go ahead and ping. I get to choose. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the Redemption, put the 2 damage on the Redemption. The Xanadu Blood still can't kill the Redemption. I have the initiative here, right? Xanadu Blood can't ram through the Redemption because I have 9 HP. And he swings for 6. That'll put me at 8, right? So he kind of has to decide what he wants to do here. He's like, I don't know if he's stressing, but he's going to go ahead and he's going to, he's trying to decide, do I ram Greedo, get rid of the shield? Or do I swap shield for shield? So, you see... So he taps the 1. He's going to go with the Greedo play, right? And he does not get a non-unit, so he doesn't get to deal the extra 2 damage. So Cad Bane will not be able to take out Obi-Wan, even with a surprise strike. But he can go ahead and figure out what he wants to do here. I think he's going to either McClunky and deal 3 damage into either Obi-Wan or the Redemption. So he trades in the... there is no shield, right? He's just trying to decide what the line is. And he does go with McClunky. He's going to deal this 3 to the Redemption, which is the proper play. Having Redemption in space to swing for 6 next turn is not great. So he's going to bring back that. He pings my base. He's then going to go ahead and play Lady Proxima once again. Right, so here comes the Lady Proxima. He's going to trade into the Redemption. Again, the proper play. You cannot have me start next turn with a free shot with a Redemption. Like, either way, I would have gotten 6 into base, right? And he opts to keep his shield on the Cad Bane. He doesn't want any damage on Cad Bane. He wants to keep the shield. Which, again, I think you have to make me make plays, right? I think you give up your shield, you get the damage on Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan, yes, he'll take 2 hits from Cad Bane because he's 6'9", but if you get a surprise strike or anything to pump up your damage, it's pretty crazy. So you kind of see he has 2 Lurking TIE Phantoms in hand, so he is feeling pretty okay, I think, at this point, because if he drops down 2 Lurking TIE Phantoms, obviously I can't use removal on it, but I now go ahead and I play Rival's Fall, right? That's why you have to go in and you have to get that damage on Obi-Wan as soon as possible. Yes, you weren't going to be able to take him out, but a Rival's Fall sets you back a lot here. You have no pressure on the board on the ground units. I can swing in with Obi-Wan here and feel pretty good. I have a second Sentinel with my stick ladies, right? Those village protectors, always protecting the village. So again, he goes ahead and he chooses to play Zuckuss. I take 1 to base because of Lady Proxima. And now I can go ahead and I can either take out Zuckuss and take 6 back, but there's really no reason to. Listen, Zuckuss has Saboteur. He can go in and attack my base, but I need the pressure on his base. And that's kind of why I like playing this type of control a little bit more, because it's not hard control. It's more soft control. I go ahead and I put a Sentinel in space, so he cannot swing in with the Lurking TIE Phantom next turn. And we're feeling pretty good, right? So, yes, he does have the Saboteur with Zuckuss. And yes, he can pop me, bring things to my hand. But I have to kind of, like, if he gets the Cunning, right? I just have to kind of play and make him use his resources. That's what I always stress. Make your opponent use their resources. I do think that Bluezer was a little bit, again, passive with his turns, right? Leaving Obi-Wan at full HP when he could have gotten 4 in. Zuckuss could have taken out Obi-Wan on this turn, right? So he does play Cunning. Yep, look at me go. Playing the Cunning allows him to exhaust Obi-Wan and exhaust the village protectors, right? And then I thought he was going to fling my thing back to my hand, but he chooses to go ahead and force me to discard a random card, I believe. Or does he give Zuckuss the boost? I think he might give Zuckuss the boost. Oh no, he does go to discard. Okay, I was like, from what I remember, he makes me discard a card. So I lose my Obi-Wan here, which is kind of unfortunate, because getting an Obi-Wan to pump up the Obi-Wan a little bit more would be nice. But I am like, okay, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and play a Luke here and take out the Lurking TIE Phantom, right? So we play 7. I only tapped 6, I believe. No, there's 1 underneath. Or maybe there's not 1 underneath, but either way, we're gonna kind of see if I cheated here. I don't think it would have mattered. I don't know why I only tapped 6 resources, but I don't think I use all my resources. So he does go Zuckuss into the Obi-Wan, which is probably the proper play. Start to get rid of that Obi-Wan while you can. Yeah. And I go ahead and I play that. I'm just going to go ahead and heal and deal the damage back to the homie. He goes ahead and he hits me for 4. So we're just taking a bunch of damage on Obi-Wan, kind of flinging it around. And again, the extra resource left up is okay. Is good now because I did not use the extra resource. So I did technically, I had enough to pay for the Luke and the It Binds All thing, so I don't feel super bad about only tapping 6. It's just a mental mistake. But again, I didn't use that extra resource, so nothing really was affected. But you're kind of seeing here Obi-Wan being able to like hold on as the Sentinel, and then he's, you know, pinging things, and there's no reason for me not to ping the Concord Dawn interceptors, because even if he does bring out the Lurking TIE Phantom, I'm swinging back for 3. I just have to make sure that this does not get hit with McClunky. It might get hit with McClunky, but if it does, it is what it is. So we're also sitting here with Luke on board, and we're able to restore 3. So we're in a really good spot here. He puts down the Lurking TIE Phantom. I think he realizes like it's just nothing's really gonna do it. So he does worm me. He swings his worm at Obi-Wan. He kills Obi-Wan. He's tired of Obi-Wan, so he throws a worm at Obi-Wan. And I'm just gonna go ahead and smack in, and then with everything on the board, I think we just agree that it's pretty bad, right? So I restore 3. He gets hit for 8. He has 3 HP left. He does not have a Sentinel. He can go ahead and play Bazine from resources to kind of see what I have. And he sees 2 Vigilances and a Takedown. So he was not looking great. He's like, screw your Vigilance. And he throws it into the table, and I have 3 damage on board. So I'm going to go ahead and swing with Village Protectors. Someone throws a card in my hand. I didn't really care too much about drawing the card because I win here, right? He's at 27 HP. He Relentless Pursuits. He can't Relentless, but then he realizes he can't, which is why I swung with the Village Protectors. to leave the Concord Dawn Interceptors because you can't Relentless Pursuit them because it has to be equal or less to the value of the card that you're going to be capturing, right? So always swing with things. If you're playing against double yellow, remember that. So I went Village Protectors for that reason, so I can finish off the game with Concord Dawn Interceptors. It's like a tongue twister, holy moly. But you're kind of seeing how the deck wants to run. You need to get through the early game and kind of, you know, get to your Sentinels and restore pieces and then start to swing in for game, right? All right, so now I'm going to kind of talk about the deck a little bit more as we did in the last video and kind of talk about the final match that we went through, right? So as you saw, the deck kind of performed the way that we wanted it to. Again, if you want to get down to 50, I would recommend probably getting rid of the Covert Strengths. I just have that for a little bit just to make sure I can heal up some Sentinels and maybe give them a little bit of a boost. But again, if you want to chuck those, that's what I would chuck. I might actually chuck that myself because I do like to have a 50 card deck, right? So as you saw, the deck ran. I didn't show you all three, but I showed you the first game of me getting completely smacked. And then game 3, which game 2 kind of went pretty similar, right? I was able to kind of flip things around. I put in more Sentinels, a little bit more removal with Rival's Fall and Takedown, getting up to 6 on both of those. I also put in the Perilous Position just in case Cad Bane came out and I needed to exhaust it and slow him down a little bit. That's kind of how you want to play against those a little bit faster or double yellow decks. When things are popping back into your hand, you need to make sure you have more removal and things that kind of slow them down, like Perilous Position. But also, you saw how my opponent, because of how game 2 went, they changed up their game plan, right? In game 2, I was able to Rival's Fall his Cad Bane on flip, and he was afraid to flip his unit or lose it at any given point. But you cannot play that way. You need to be able to, you know, keep on going and force your opponent to use their resources. Force them to use Rival's Fall. Force them to use their takedowns. Use their resources so they can't use those things in response. Because you saw in this matchup, a little bit of passiveness led me to be up in the game, right? When I played out Obi-Wan and he passed, I grabbed initiative, it allowed me to get up that extra resource to then put myself in a better position to play bigger things in response to his flip and stuff like that, right? Not swinging into the Obi-Wan with Cad Bane. Yes, you didn't want to lose your shield, but also understand that on the next turn, I am probably going to Rival's Fall your Cad Bane. So go ahead and swing into Obi-Wan, get that 4 damage into Obi-Wan. This way, Zuckuss could have came in and swung in and killed, and he wouldn't have had to worm at me, right? No worm needed. But still, it was a very good best of 3. Again, he ransacked me. I made the adjustments, and then kind of put some doubt in his head. I think is what it really was. So again, if you guys enjoy these style of videos where I go ahead and I show you updated lists of lists I previously did as we get ready for locals and play in locals, I'll continue doing it this way. If you guys are new here and enjoying the content, make sure you hit that sub button. Support is always appreciated. And again, if you want to go from 52 to 50, which I'm probably going to end up doing myself, I'm going to take the Covert Strengths out of the deck and then rock with what we're rocking with. But again, until next time, I'll see you guys later.